Have you ever been in a really serious car accident or seen one? The police are going to stop and ask you a lot of questions. Tell me what you saw. Tell me how this happened. How fast were you going? Where did this other car come from? Who was at fault here? Was there a red light? Was there a green light? They're going to ask you for lots of things. They are going to depend upon you accurately reporting the facts to the best of your ability. This is episode number 183, Intentionally Accurate. Thank you for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. In life, in general, accuracy is important. If you don't think so, if your car is off just by half of an inch, you're dealing with thousands of pounds of metal and fiberglass and rubber and thousands of bolts, but just the drive shaft is off by half of an inch. Your car's going to shimmy and shake. If it's out of alignment by just a little bit, it's going to do that and it's going to pull hard over to the right. Yeah, it's an extremely big deal that every part of the car is positioned correctly and running accurately. And you're going to a place where you've never been before. The GPS tells you to turn left and you do it, but the place is down there, but you've never been there before and you don't know that. And you drive around for half of an hour because the instructions weren't exactly accurate. You get the picture. Each of us needs to do our very best to speak as accurately as possible, to say what we mean, to learn how to express honestly how we're feeling and what we think. And we need to be able to do that in safety. So we need to provide that environment within our home and for our children that they can tell us what they think, how they feel, what they want, what they believe, what they're going through, what's happening in their world as accurately as possible without judgment and criticism and, heaven's sakes alive, God forbid, condemnation or some kind of negative ramifications. We literally need to intentionally foster accuracy out of our children. Let me help you with this a little bit. A, you need to speak as accurately as possible. Some people are awfully careless with their words. They'll say, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. That isn't really what I meant. Or, heaven forbid, my least favorite thing in the world, someone just gets done saying something and they're like, I never said that. I didn't tell you that. Well, it is what they said. It might not have been what they meant. And you even need to give them enough room to clarify, well, that is what I said, but that isn't exactly what I meant. Okay, please clarify. So again, you're aiming to get accurate communication between two people. That may be a little bit of a dance or a little bit of a juggling match, and you've got to get adept at that and clarify or do the mirror imaging communication thing. This is what I think I heard you say. And no, that's not exactly what I meant. I meant this. And don't go, well, that is what you said. Okay, so what did you mean, kind of thing. I have a couple of siblings that have real trouble with this. They'll say something and then 5 minutes later you said, well, you said, oh, I never said that. I never said that. You're delusional. I don't know what you're thinking. Something's wrong with you. Oh, yeah. Because of this, and still even now as an adult, I have to tell you that I hate being subjected to this form of communication, but it's challenging to help other people learn a more productive means of communicating. So just note to self, people, you might have people like that in your world, and you've got to handle it, because I do too. But in instructing your children, wow, you have the great opportunity and privilege of intentionally teaching your children to be as accurate as possible in their communications. So they might say, I really hate having to take out the trash. So what you're telling me is this is not your favorite chore. Right. Now you don't hate it, or maybe you do. Which one is it? Well, no, I don't really hate it, but I definitely don't like it. Okay, well, those aren't exactly the same terms. So you say, I really don't like taking out the trash. I don't think I've ever met a human being that wasn't prone to exaggeration. One of my most favorite things to say sometimes, especially to guys about women, is that when the devil came to Eve in the story of the creation, and he said, "Did God tell you that if you eat this tree, you're going to die?" And Eve said, "Yeah, we can't eat it. We can't even touch it." Well, that isn't what God said. Eve was already prone to exaggerate before sin even happened in the world. Just just human beings are very prone to exaggerate. I mean, come on. If you catch a fish and it's this big, by the time you get done telling the story, it's going to be that big. Okay, we all get that. And little kids, especially, are very extravagant in their speech and their excitement and their enthusiasm. They're going to be prone to exaggerate. You don't want to stop their creativity. You know that's not the truth. You're lying to me right now. As much as it is to intentionally teach them accuracy. Okay, if you did it 10 times, then you say, I did it 10 times. If you only did it twice, then you don't say, I did it 10 times perfectly. No, I did it twice. And oh, yeah, I did it about 20 times before that really badly. But I did do it really well twice. You're teaching them also in their minds to think accurately and then to express themselves accurately. I literally have done this. I did not know to do it with my children because I wasn't this wise yet. I promise you that. I did do this with my grandsons. I would tell them something. I'd give them about 5 minutes and I'd say, "So what did I say to you?" And I just wanted to see if they could remember, if they were really listening, and if they could accurately reflect back what they had heard. It's a great exercise. And sometimes I would lay out a series of things in front of them, and I have done this as a teacher as well, for about 5 minutes, and then take them away and give them 10 or 15 minutes, and then ask them, "What did you see?" See how well they can write down accurately what they saw. Everyone doesn't see the same things. We have definitely expounded on this topic multiple times, so I'm not going to do it today. But I promise you, a person standing behind me is not going to see what someone in front of me is going to see. They're going to see my back, my rear end, my hair. Here, you're going to see my face, my breasts, my tummy. You're not going to see the same things depending on where you're standing. That's why police officers ask multiple people who saw an accident occur because they did not all witness the same thing. No one is lying. If they are honestly reporting what they saw, they each saw it from a different perspective, and that's very appropriate to report that. What I want you to know is that when your child can accurately report what he or she saw, what he or she heard, what they are thinking, what they did, how they are feeling, that level of accuracy increases their reliability and their believability. And all of us want to be believed. You help them to understand that by telling them in point blank terms, if I stood here today and I told you this afternoon I'm going to buy you an ice cream, and I didn't, and then tomorrow I told you I'm going to take you to the arcade, and I didn't, and Thursday I told you that we were going to go to the mall and run around, but we didn't. After a while, would you believe what I said? Well, no, of course not, because you're not telling me what's real. Yes, and I need you to tell me what's real in your life, what's really going on, so that you are reliable and I can trust you and depend upon you and believe what you are saying to me. I'm serious when I say to you that any 5, 6, or 7-year-old can understand this illustration. So the reason I need you to accurately speak is in order that you are believable, because I want to believe you. But if you're lying to me, or you're not quite telling me the whole story, or you're not really being truthful here, after a while, I can't really believe you anymore because your word is not reliable. It's a very important thing. You need to intentionally teach your child, be as accurate as you can. I'm going to give you another illustration as a teacher, but also just as a parent. Mathematics. You know, there is a little bit of room occasionally in math, but mostly not. If you have 2 apples and 2 oranges and 4 people, everybody isn't going to get to eat an apple. This is basic math. If the speed limit is 55 and you're doing 95 and you get stopped, you exceeded the speed limit, you're going to be getting a ticket. This is basic math, frankly. If you have $100 in your wallet and you want to go buy a $120 pair of shoes, unless you're willing to steal something from somebody or unless you have an unlimited credit card, you're not going to be able to get those shoes. That is basic math. All of us need to learn how to think accurately, report accurately, speak accurately, and recognize that the entire world has those kind of limits set around it. And so we just have to live within those parameters. It causes a lot of confusion and sadness in a home or a life when someone isn't accurate at all, when they're careless with their money, when they are careless with their words, when they are careless with their emotions. They just let them run all over the place and spew them all over everybody around them. There's a reason for learning to live a life that has a level of accuracy in it. And I will say this, I will leave you with this thought. Both of my sons are authors, and my mom, especially, was a very articulate person. She wasn't terribly well educated, but she was well read. She had a decent vocabulary. I wouldn't say extensive, but she was very well spoken. All of my life with my children, I can say this to you, I have used massive amounts of words and a pretty extensive vocabulary, and reasonably quickly. I'm talking by the time they were 4 and 5, they knew what most of those words meant. In fact, I'm going to demonstrate something to you, and I won't do it long, but I just want you to see. Capital WHEN, MYCHILDREN, WERELITTLE, comma, capital I WOULD, SPELLEVERYTHING, exclamation point. When my children were little, I would spell everything. My husband and I could do it. I mean, I won't show it to you in real time. You'd freak out. You know, by the time my sons were like 3.5 years old, they say, Mom, when are we going to do that? What in the world? They could literally spell and understand. Not only could they hear the words that were spoken to them, they could hear the spelling of the words spoken around them. Children are amazing. Use an extensive vocabulary with your children. Don't be afraid to use words that might require an explanation, but often I can tell you within context, your children are already going to understand those words. And allow your children to learn to accurately speak their feelings and their thoughts, their ideas, their perceptions, and count it a joy, really, because it is awesome when someone else will share their inner life and their world, their thoughts, and their very heart with you. And you want that to happen with your children. So this is one of the ways to have that, is by intentionally fostering accuracy in their expression of themselves, in their reporting of events, and in talking to you about their thoughts and their feelings, their ideas, and their internal workings. I hope this has been helpful to you today. I would love for you to leave me a comment, a question, or a suggestion. I will look forward to having you with me again soon on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.